Welcome to Spurs Vision TV. Good evening to all you guys in Asia. Of course, good afternoon, all you guys in the Europe, and of course from the UKs, and of course London, and of course good morning to all you guys in the Americas. Right, that's where Scott's from. He's from Canada. Right, it's morning time there now. Right. So,
Not
guys, today
Australia.
we have. He's not Australian. Oh,
Not
sorry.
Australia.
Yeah. I've introduced you our new CFO, Mr. Scott Munn, who is on next to Elias.
Making his
And
first appearance since being appointed as the Spurs CFO.
Yeah, not
yes,
in
yes,
Australia anymore. I'm on my way to London via Canada. So that
yeah.
Oh,
usual
okay.
Australia to Canada to London flight that you take.
Will you be
All
making
right.
us proud like Nuno?
No, I'm
Okay, I
fully
think
Libyan now, so I'll be making you angry.
Okay, glad you speak
I'm
truth.
cutting the transfer budget first thing.
Glad you at least speak truth.
There you go.
okay. I don't understand why everyone's got the stream, but apart from Keshav, he says we got another show. Um, Everyone's got the correct. Yeah, this is correct link, right? Did I send out the wrong link? Cannot be, right? Hold on.
No, you
Right.
didn't.
Yeah, everyone's got the right link, right? Mic checking. Okay, Keshav is on. Hold on, let me get Keshav on. Welcome, Keshav. Keshav is a West Ham fan. I'm sure Ram know who Keshav is, right? And Johan, I'm not sure.
Yo.
Hi, Ram.
Yeah, yeah,
Hi, hi.
big up to everyone. But before I continue, just have a look at the chats. Who's in the chats? Redbird. Big up, Redbird, right? Uncle Rod's, your official troll, is here. He's looking for you.
Redbird. Yeah, he's my good friend.
Amirali is here. And of course, we have Sean Yao. Sean Yao's here too. And of course, we have Ravi. Big up to Ravi. Ravi is here. And let's say what Ravi's got a very quick question for us now. How lucky is Spurs to get away with that win? Oh, we'll go into that, don't we? We'll go into that, right? I've got my own theories about that, right? And because how Spurs link up and create more chances in the games. Yep. Let's see how we can continue that too, especially not with having any creative midfield at the moment, right? Guys, thanks for being on. Thanks for giving me your time for this show today, right? Let's get down to business. Who should we start with? Okay, hold on. Let me wait. We've got one more guest joining. Yep. And of course, Doc Ramlan. Doc Ramlan. Yep.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes, Doc.
yes, doc. But a bit soft.
All right. I was worried about the mic just now because
Yeah. And I think there's a slight echo coming.
let's go.
Let me see. Pause this. Okay. Okay, what's going on here? All right, guys. Okay, I'm back. Okay, there's a slight echo coming. I'm not sure from where. Can you guys hear it?
Yeah. There's an echo from you.
Is the echo from me?
Yeah.
I think the echo is coming from Doc's mic.
Now it's okay. Now it's okay.
Yeah, because I muted Doc, right? Okay. Guys, of course, most of you have not met Dr. Ramlan. Dr. Ramlan is a Spurs fan, right? And he's been supporting Spurs for a long time, right? And of course, we got guys in the chats, Tony Rodriguez, right? John Fitzpatrick, big up, John, right? And of course, Ensman TV, right? They're all here to support, right? All here to support. Thanks, guys. Thanks. And let me put on Doc's mic again one more time. Yep, there's an echo coming from your mic, Doc.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Let's see. Maybe you got to switch off the echo cancellation
Okay.
on your side then. Okay. All right. Okay. While we settle out the technical issues at the moment with the mics. All right. Let's get to the first game that played. I guess the earliest game, right, was this game, right? Manchester United 2. Since Ram is here, look at him. Ram is so happy. Yeah. And to tell the truth, right? Yeah, look at him. He's kissing the badge and all that. I'll get to Ram first because the whole of last season, Ram was really down, right? So,
Very
and I
down.
get
Yep.
really down. So now, since you got Ten Hag in, I guess Ram, you're really happy now.
Oh, super happy. I thought this was one of those games where we had to win, and we did it. And now we are actually in the top four. So I think it's just about making sure the momentum continues, that we keep getting results, and hopefully we can stay in the top four, because I know Tottenham, you guys are lurking in behind us, so we got to watch out there. We have a lot of respect for you guys. You guys are playing some really good football, especially with Son and Kane, scoring lots of goals. So we just got to be a bit more wary. But yes, I think we'll take one game at a time, and very happy for now. Yes, absolutely. Thanks, Eugene.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, the 2-0, right? Was it an easy game or was it a difficult game that you had to go through?
Actually, I was surprised because before the match started, I thought it was going to be a very difficult game, because Everton, would have come all guns blazing, But when I saw United play in the first half, I thought they could have scored more goals, especially if you notice Anthony being able to actually be very free on the right hand side of midfield numerous times on numerous occasions. So we failed to score more goals. But I think overall, I have to say this though, for all United fans, I'm quite surprised that Maguire had a very quiet game.
Okay, it was actually against an Everton team. But there's also a slight rumor coming out that Rashford is injured, right? After that.
Yeah, he had a groin strain, so I suspect he may not be able to make it for the European clash against Sevilla. So I can see. But the good news is Casemiro is back unsuspended. He's completed his 4-game suspension. So and Martial is also back. So I think we have not much to worry about. I think it's going to be still a team that can take on Sevilla and can finish in the top 4 in the remaining games for sure.
Okay. And big up to Chelsea OG. Big up to thanks for your support and your time. Right.
Mhm.
At the moment now, I guess how would you say? Of course, you're talking about the top 4, right? At the moment, the challenge is there is between actually Spurs, MU, and Newcastle. But you guys have got two games, we call in hand again on us. So I guess we'll find out soon. I guess in April the games are going to catch up, and we'll know where we all actually stand by then, right? I'll go around the panel and ask you, the panelists, any thoughts on the Manchester United game. I'll start with Elias. Elias, any thoughts on Manchester United game?
Glad they, not to say glad that they won, but yeah, I'm kind of happy for them. Because Everton was good against us last week, and I would like to see Everton under the pressure so that they can put the pressure on all those teams that are playing them later on, in terms of relegation. And let's see what happens. But it was a good result, I guess, for Man United. Didn't really watch the game, but yeah, I just went through the stats a bit.
Okay, fair. Scott, the Man U game, did you watch it?
I did not, because that was at 5:30 in the morning, and I'm not getting up that early to watch United. But I'll say I think it's probably an important win for them. I know they had beat Brentford, I think, last week, but they had that loss to Newcastle. They had some injuries, or not injuries, with the suspension to Casemiro. It's one of those games where you can kind of start to lose your grip on top 4 if you lose it. So just from not having watched it, but looking at the result there, it looks like one of those games where it's an important game to come back, beat the opponents you're supposed to beat, and that's how you get top 4, right? Is with the kind of performance here. Now with Rashford getting out, it'll be interesting to see how they do to the end of the year. But I mean, I think Casemiro coming back is the most important thing for that team, right? He's probably, if not their most important player, he's got to be a top 3 important player for them. So it'll be good. But it's the kind of win that you need, I think, if you're going to finish in the top 3. So, good for them for doing it. And you don't have to worry. I think Ram said he's worried that we're lurking back there. We're not a threat at all for top 4. So don't worry about us. I would be more worried about Liverpool than us coming up for that top 4. We're not a top 4 threat. So.
Okay. Then I guess I'll come to Johan, right? Because I guess Johan will be actually a top 4 threat this season, right? Being a Newcastle fan. Johan, what your thoughts on the Manchester United game?
I mean, I only caught the second half. MU okay, decent. I wouldn't say they were very good, but I think Everton was just poor, and somehow I got a feeling that Everton might go down this season. And I mean, I'm happy that Martial scored. He's been hasn't played for some time now, and yeah, I think he coming back would be handy since Rashford is out injured. But I think MU somehow they'll produce the results, and yeah, definitely will be a top four finisher, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And of course, Uncle Rods, right? Manchester United, I guess your rival, and of course Everton, even a neighbor rival. So I'm not sure who you're going to support, right? On that day, right? But the MU win over Everton, I guess I'm sure you will be saying something like, what is right? Your
No,
thoughts?
I've got two ladies at the day that I've got as friends that I collaborate with on content. Sophie's Football Talk and Macy Devils United.
Yeah.
So I took an interest in that game still. I took an interest in the game, and I watched some of it, but most of it I listened to on Sophie's channel, like I watch along and stuff. And to all accounts, Man United did play well, and they did deserve the 2-0 win. Do you know what I mean? They got about Everton from the start. Do you know what I mean? Put this way, they could have been probably about 4-0 up in the first half. They could have been literally 4-0 up in the first half because they had chances upon chances. Do you know what I mean? My concern is having that many chances and not actually putting away. Obviously, just putting that one goal away. Do you know what I mean? That could be sort of like that could be a danger for Man United. Do you know what I mean? Having most of the possession, having most of the chances, but only being able to put like one goal away. Do you know what I mean? So apart from that, when Martial come on, he kind of changed the game. Do you know what I mean? He kind of changed the game as such, and he played well. I've always rated Martial. Do you know what I mean? I've always rated him as a player. Do you know what I mean? It's just that sort of like it's a pity at the end of the day that he hasn't been able to kick on at Man United. I think since what's that guy's name? I always forget his name. You know, the Dutch guy that brought him in. He's a manager of
Weckers.
what's them?
Weckers.
No. The manager
Louis
used to be
van Gaal.
manager.
Ben Howe.
Right. Van Gaal brought him in,
yeah.
and brought him in, and he kind of like got him up to speed and so forth. But I think when he left, I think Martial's kind of career went downhill. Do you know what I mean? So but I rate Martial. I've always rated Martial, and basically, when you look at the game, Man United did deserve the 2-0 win. It did deserve it. They played well. As I said it could have been more in the first half. It literally could have been more in the first half, and that's my only danger with Man United going, kicking on games in the future, is that when they get so many chances at the end of the day, they're only able to put away one goal. They should be sort of like, put away all the chances that you can. That's the way you win games, convincingly. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, good result for Man United. Good result. Great result for them.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Right.
And Everton's going down as well. Everton's going down. You know that, don't you? They're getting relegated.
You must be happy with that.
You know what it is? Listen, you know what it is at the end of the day, right? I was discussing this with Sophie at the end of the day, right? I'll probably take more pleasure at the end of the day of Man United going down, and they'll probably take more pleasure with Liverpool going down. You know what I mean? It probably they probably take more pleasure with Liverpool going down than Man City. They don't really bother about Man City. Man City just
That's true.
Man City. Do you know what I mean? And you see that with us with Everton, because remember at the day Liverpool was formed out of Everton. Before at the day, but back in the days, and then back in the days, was only one club at the day in Liverpool, and that was Everton. We got formed out of Everton. Then there was two clubs. So it is what it is. But I probably wouldn't give it much thought, to be honest. Really, do you know what I mean? So but it's what it is.
Yeah, and of course, Ravi has got a question, right? Do Man United have a little issue of not being able to kill off games? Yeah. At the moment, I'm going to ask Ram that. Ram, do you feel that too?
Yeah, I do. I do of late. I especially, after the Liverpool loss that we faced, and feel I think that has definitely derailed us a little bit in terms of killing off games where we're supposed to. We are, instead of winning games, we're drawing games. 0-0 out of Southampton, we should have won. So yeah, definitely. I think United are missing that proper out and out striker, which we need, and I hope that
Hurricane.
Ten Hag, yeah, maybe Kane. There's been quite a lot of talks of him coming over, but there's also about Osimhen coming over as well. So you never know what could be the real deal. But I mean, my opinion is, if United do qualify for Europe next season, then we will probably attract a lot more players to come into the fray. And with Ten Hag proving that he can actually take on this role and make something out of it, I think there is a good future ahead of this team, because I'm sick and tired of, every 2-3 years we're changing managers, looking for a new one. So I hope Ten Hag keeps his spot. I hope that he gets the players that he wants. And of course, yeah, I hope that we get to kill off more games in the upcoming 10 games remaining. So yeah, it's a dream to have, but I'm positive that it will be better in the future.
Mhm. Okay. And before we continue, right? Big up to M Tamizi, right? Big up, and of course Mark Cousins coming from the Ben Kaufman Coffee Raid, right? Big up, thanks, Mark, big up, right? Let me get to Doc. Doc, Manchester United, any thoughts? You're still mute, Doc. Yeah, can't hear you.
Sorry for giving you the silent treatment. Okay.
Stop that.
Yeah, no,
Good
I,
one, good
I,
one.
no, my attitude usually, I didn't catch the match because it was a bit late and a bit too early for me. I woke up at 5 and all that, but it was still in progress. And I was looking at the score and I thought, yeah, it's what can be expected after all. In our position, sometimes you feel your rivals ahead of you and your rivals behind you, sniffing behind you. You're hoping that sometimes the results fall into place in your favor, but you should always look at yourself, in a manner of speaking, and see how you stack up, and let the other things fall into place as it should be. And I'm always then what I will look at is always I look at the highlights, and I like the football that Manchester United are playing at this moment. And Rashford, I've always thought highly of him, even though he fell to a funk just before this, and he sort of came back this season. And I do believe that you're in a good position to rest top four spot, and the rest are playing catching up after all. And yes, we're always looking at Liverpool behind us. Yes, to make sure that you don't get any closer, if possible. But there you go. When things are not stacking up in your favor with no manager, an interim manager, after Conte left, you get Conte version 2, yes, and then only after you got the red card, then things started to look up. And does a red card for the coach result in one match suspension or something like that? It does, right?
At the moment,
Yeah.
yeah, at the moment.
Yeah, that
But
bodes well.
they can always appeal it at the moment. That's how we see it, right? So
I hope we can extend it to 3 matches if possible. No, because yeah, but there you go. I must compliment Manchester United for well played, because at the end of the day, no, it's not all the time. The thing is, you must be there with the chance, even if you miss so many chances, but you got to put in as many chances as possible. And if you got two, then it's all the better for it. Thank you.
yeah, that's good. That's good.
What team do you support? Sorry, what team do you support?
Spurs.
You support Spurs. Okay.
Not around support Spurs. Because it's
No,
Spurs
the
fan.
guy down here. The guy down here.
Me,
Bottom, you?
Yeah, him. Yeah.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah. I
Spurs.
used to, I used to introduce myself as a long-suffering Spurs fan, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We're all long suffering Spurs fans.
You're the same one. So there you go. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, bro. Nice to meet
Yeah.
you.
He's a Liverpool fan, so yeah, he's suffering now, right? Suffering now.
My
Actually,
most
you know what? It hasn't been a good season. No, it hasn't been a good season. Yeah, Kevin.
no, most of my nephews and my brother's children and my sister's children, they're all Liverpool fans. So I'm
Oh,
surrounded by Liverpool fans. All right. So
Okay.
I'm the only one who's in an anomaly.
And I don't know what happened to Keshaf as we were getting to Keshaf, and he's disappeared.
Disappeared. Yeah.
But never mind. All right. Since Keshaf is not here at the moment, let me just read out the days to panel. You guys are opening the club. Okay. Travel to Southeast Asia for pre-season. Personally, I've been hearing Liverpool might return to Singapore this summer. Okay. Liverpool might return to Singapore. Right. Spurs might be going to Singapore too, right? I guess nowadays every big Premier League team is going to Southeast Asia. I guess that's where
Yeah.
the money is. That's where the money
Yeah.
is now. But okay. Let's get on to the next game. I guess this one will make someone smile, right? Really smile. Look at it. Yeah. The Saudi back team we'll call them. It doesn't matter,
Mhm.
right? Newcastle. Johan,
Yeah.
I guess it wasn't an easy game, right? For Newcastle.
I mean, it was actually a horrendous first half. To be fair, I mean, Tony scored 3 times, but luckily only one counted. So
Seriously,
the
only
first,
scored
first
three
goal,
times.
yeah,
My
Ivan
God.
Tony, so a former Newcastle striker. So he scored in the 11th minute, but ruled offside. And then Botman had a terrible first half, slid in and without the ball, gave away a penalty, and Nick Pope saved Tony's penalty. And
Oh,
then they got another penalty right at the end of the first half. Again, but Ivan Tony stepped up again and managed to score. So kudos to them. I mean, as Newcastle fans, we had a gathering actually, the Newcastle fans, and we really had a very poor first half, and second half the manager switched it up actually. Halftime brought in two substitutions, and that made a difference. And then yeah, we actually scored two, and then Callum Wilson, that goal should have stood. We should have been comfortable 3-1 up, but okay, 2-1, we'll take it. But good goal, and the comeback was great, lah. And then 5 wins in a row, that has boosted us, starting for us to believe that we might make it to the top four, lah.
I think Eddie Howe is really a special one, Johan. I think he's really brilliant for Newcastle. I think he has just got that edge as a manager.
Yeah.
I respect him a lot. I look up to him a lot. I think he's going to be brilliant in the next few years for Newcastle.
And the team spirit in the locker room, that's something different, lah. When Eddie Howe came in last year, even when he took over at 20th place, somehow he just managed to build that bond, and that permeates throughout the team. The everybody works for each other now.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll come back to Keshaf. Keshaf, internet connection problems?
Yes, sorry, yeah.
Okay, no problem. I thought you were angry and you ran away.
Oh, no, no.
It's Western story this year, like it happens. So anyway.
Yeah, Western story. Okay. Yeah, Ram is gonna rub it in for you, I guess. Yeah.
Wrong way.
Okay,
Sorry.
Yeah. But okay, your thoughts on the Manchester United game first, then after that continue with the Newcastle game if you have any thoughts on it.
I watched the second half of the Man United game. I thought they played very well. Everton had a couple of chances to score, but of course, when you have a good Everton side, I thought they defended well at times. But in regards to the final third, Manchester United played very well, especially when Martial came on. It made the difference for them. And yeah, credit to them. It helped us especially in terms of the relegation battle. So yeah, it's good for Man United. Did a favor for us.
Okay. And the Newcastle game, do you watch it? Any thoughts on that?
I did watch the game. Actually, it was a good game. Ivan Toney missed a penalty, which I can't believe I don't know why he missed it. But then he got another penalty to score. To be honest, I think I like Ivan Toney a lot. I think he's a very good striker. He would suit how West Ham play. And I want to get into Newcastle because I must give a lot of credit. I'm very impressed with them. I think I think they're one of the dark horses, if you ask me, in terms of the outside favorites, in terms of the top 6 or 7. Very well coached under Eddie Howe. They've spent well on players. They've not gone or gung ho on too many players like what Chelsea are doing. So yeah, very impressed with them. Their attacking philosophy is there. They've got some very good players which are molded well under the system of Eddie Howe. So yeah, couldn't be more impressed. Very good.
That's fair. That's fair. And Doc, any thoughts on the Brentford Newcastle game? Because Newcastle is like one of our rivals now, going for the top 4 position, right?
Well, I watched the two penalties that Ivan Toney got, and the first one, both are short run-ups, right? He doesn't take a
Yeah,
long
just 2 steps. Yeah.
just 2 steps and then bang away. It's just that he was just a bit off, a bit central, and the goalkeeper got to it. But the other one, he just chose the same side, yes, but it's closer to the side netting, so he was good. He's definitely he's a brave guy for taking another penalty. But he's got an offside. But at the end of the day, I'm always impressed with how Newcastle are playing nowadays, and the coach. Definitely, for a long time, I've always admired him as a thinking coach. Always calm, thoughtful, and always has a kind word to say about things, and he's very reasonable in terms of his comments and all that. Not emotional at all. So I think it bodes well for Newcastle. So it's between Newcastle and Manchester United. The fight. It'll be a dogfight in there for third and fourth. So we'll see how it goes. And all the best to the two of you.
Okay. That means we're not included lah. Aiyo. But okay. Okay, I'll come to Uncle Rod's, right? Everyone is praising giving heaps of praises for Newcastle, right? But no one's actually talking about Brentford. Brentford is actually more or less in the fight for Europe, right? And with the budget that they have, and with the manager that they have, and to tell the truth, right? Ivan Toney has been putting in the penalties, I think, for the straight down 16 or 17 times. So I guess that one miss had to come sooner or later, right? It can't be 100% perfect record all the while. There's no strikers been that good, right, in taking penalties and all that. So, Uncle Ross, your thoughts on the Brentford Newcastle game?
I think Brentford and they have done amazingly to be where they are now. They're an amazing team. They've got a good coach. I mean, Thomas Franken, and he knows how to get the best out of players. You know what I mean? And I think what Brentford has done, and they haven't sort of like I don't know, they tried to solidify themselves in the league. Do you know what I mean? And finishing there and thereabouts and such. Do you know what I mean? And they've done it very well, and they've got some good players. I mean, Ivan Toney is he's awesome. Burma, you know what I mean? All them players that they got are very, very good players. I mean, to be honest, they beat us 3-0 when we went down there. Do you know what I mean? They play good attacking football. Do you know what I mean? Good possession football. It's just that sort of like come up against Newcastle at this present stage of the season, it would have been a bit too much, because Eddie Howe what Eddie Howe has done, he's got his team well drilled. I mean, he was like that when he was at Bournemouth. He done all what he could do at Bournemouth before he couldn't do anymore. But when he had Bournemouth in a good situation, do you know what I mean? He had the players playing very, very well. He's a good, capable manager. Do you know what I mean? And I think somebody like Thomas Frank will be like something like an Eddie Howe in a year or two time. Do you know what I mean? Once he gets established in the Premier League, he's a very, very good manager. When I look at sort of like Newcastle, the way they're playing football at the moment is very, very good, because what he's actually done, if I just pick up what the other guys said, he hasn't gone home. What he's done at the day, he's bought players at the day to get him to the next player level. And then what he will do after that now, he'll buy a next set of players to get him to another level. Do you know what I mean? He's taking his time and building with his team. He's not going out and saying, look, he can. He's not going out and saying, no, yeah, I'm going to buy this person, I'm going to buy that person. No, he's buying what he needs at this present stage at the day to get him over the line. Whether it's over the line in Europe or whether it's over the line in a cup, he's buying what he needs. And he's got people like Callum Wilson. He's got him playing very, very good. He's got him playing really, really good. You know what I mean? And Willock, you know what I mean? They got Alexander Isaac. What's the Brazilian midfielder? What's his name?
Bruno
Gomes. He's got him playing very good. So really and truly, he's got a steady, strong team there. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't need to go home. He's got experience mixed with less experience. Do you know what I mean? So long may it last, because I think someone like Eddie Howe, is a breath of fresh air for the Premier League. You know what I mean? He's showing people what he can do, and even though he got bags and bags of money, but he's showing people what he can do with a team, how he can build a team properly. Do you know what I mean? And build a team within stages and stuff. Do you understand what I'm getting? I mean, like Man City, and they've got had the capability and still got it of going out and buying this player, that player, this player, that player, and that, and they've done so. Newcastle haven't done it like that. Do you know what I mean? They've bought players at the day that's going to fit the team. They've bought players at the day of what they need at this time, and they'll just all they'll do is build and build and that. So yeah, very good result for Newcastle. But Brentford, to me, and they're a very very good team. And for that, you can't sleep on Brentford. Cannot sleep on Brentford. They're a very very good team. But all in all, a very very good game.
Okay, fair. And Ram, right? Contestant for the top 3 and 4 spots, right? Including us and Newcastle and you guys, right? And maybe Liverpool. We could throw that in. If Liverpool catch up a few games, they could be up there too, right? Your thoughts on the Brentford Newcastle game?
I think I echo what what he said. Based on how the two teams played, how Eddie Howe has been a good manager to Newcastle. I think, but to put it into perspective, I think Newcastle had a better stance because they were bouncing off from a win against United, and Brentford were actually coming from a defeat against United. So this was one game that you kind of had that feeling that Newcastle had that better chance. But having said that, I think Brentford has also been able to hold their ground as a fortress as well, because they have had some good results at their home ground. So when they scored the first goal, I thought, this could be something that they could build on. But then again, Eddie Howe showed his prowess. He showed, the kind of team that Newcastle are. Because one thing I'm very impressed about Newcastle is that how they have managed to concede so few goals, in a season, and being able to still get the result that they're looking for. So they are definitely a team to look out for, in the next coming seasons or so, if they maintain the kind of performance they're doing. So, and I also echo what Keshav said, because they have not spent extravagantly like how Chelsea has spent, and look where Chelsea are today. But to put that aside, I think he's a very smart manager to be able to look at his team and say, look, I've got a team here. I'm going to make sure I make the best out of this team, and I'm going to make sure that this team play for the club. So what I see, these Newcastle players do is that they're actually playing with their hearts on their sleeves, and they're actually playing for the manager. And one of my favorite players in Newcastle has always been Alan Saint-Maximin. He's my favorite Newcastle player. I just love the way when he gets the ball. There's always danger out there. And I think there's going to be more players like that will come into the fray as well. So I think in all honesty, of course, as a United fan, I hope Newcastle don't make it top 4. Sorry, Johan. As a United fan, I'm just saying it. But but to be honest, I think they deserve where they are today. And I think if they were to make it to Champions League, I think they deserve it. I think they can go really, really far. On the other hand, I think I also give credit to Brentford, being from where they were, getting promoted into the Premier League. Last season was their first season, and this season is their second, and they're doing really, really well. I think it's not, for them to lose some hope, because Thomas Frank is still, a good manager. He has taken that team and done something with it. But the only thing I fear about the players in Brentford is because some of them are really good. And coming next season, I hope they stay with Brentford and not decide to move elsewhere, because that will just change everything accordingly. But I think where Brentford are at the moment, they are good enough, to make it to somewhere in Europe, to build on there. So those are two teams that really played really well, in my opinion. It was a good game. I enjoyed it. But yeah, I think in all honesty, Newcastle deserved the victory.
Okay. And before I get to Scott M, right? Of course, big up Nick. Thanks for being on the show. And of course, Ian Math. Big up Ian Math. Right. And of course, Nick is asking Scott, Easter decorations are still up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
We had the
And
birthday
of
last
course,
time. I think I was here, but now it's
yeah,
the
birthday. Yeah, you had the birthday decorations up the last time. Of course,
you
Mark
moved it.
Swift, right? Birthday.
Time for
Big
bed,
up,
Mark. Time for bed.
big up Swifty, big up Swifty. Yeah, yeah. And of course, I'll come to Scott. Scott, any thoughts on the Newcastle game for you?
Yeah, I was just going to comment kind of on both of the teams. I think a lot of people have talked about the game. Again, Newcastle, it's important. I think we talked early on that they need to get wins, not draws, right? They were doing a good job of getting those draws, but if you're going to have 20 draws in the season, it's going to be tough to finish in the top four. So good for them to kind of get the wins now. But I think what you see with Newcastle is they're kind of the opposite of Spurs, I would say. They don't have the same level of individual talent that we have, but throughout their whole team, they've done a good job of building a team that works for their manager, right? They don't have a Kane or a Son level talent, but what they do have is a team that plays exactly how Eddie Howe wants. They've bought players that fill the needs that they have. They've kind of done the opposite of what we've done. And the same thing with Brentford, right? Like people will talk about Brentford. How do they play so well? Well, that's a team that's been together for, I think now, probably 4 or 5 years under Thomas Frank, right? It's the same thing. That's a team that works for Thomas Frank. They built it together. They might not have the individual talent, but it's just a sign of what you can do if you bring in players, you keep them together, and they play the same system, right? And that's why they've, I think, been successful when they've come up to the Premier League, because they haven't done a bunch of changes. They've added some quality that they've needed, but for the most part, that team is the same team that played well in the Championship. Now they've come up to the Premier League. They know exactly what they want to do. They know exactly how they want to play, and the players know what Thomas Frank expects of them, and they provide it. So you can see kind of the benefit that you get from having a unified idea, a system that continues to play the same way. And when you do that, you can get more out of the players than you can from just kind of chopping and changing talent. And we've seen that not just with Spurs, but with Chelsea, right? Like nobody can deny Chelsea has great players, but we just chop, change, chop, change, chop, change. They haven't been able to come together like a Brentford has with clearly less talent. So I think it's interesting to see both those teams and the approaches that they've taken. It'll be interesting to see now where Newcastle goes, right? They've got to the level where they're competitive. Now, if they do want to take that next step, I don't think it's going to be good enough just to bring in players that Eddie Howe likes. They now need to start bringing in the elite level players, and it'll be interesting to see how that transition goes for them. But I mean, I don't know. I know we have the Newcastle fan here, and he can tell us. But I'm sure that they're happy with the progression. But now I have to think that, especially with the owners that they have, the expectation is next year they're competing for if not the title, at least for FA Cups and stuff like that. So that's kind of the next step they'll take. It'll be interesting to see how they manage that transition. But full credit to them for the season they're having. They backed Eddie Howe. They've given him what he needs, and it's pretty good to see.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. But the thing is that, okay, Elias not here, right? But for me, Newcastle, right, at least their owners have come out and said that they've got a 10-year plan for them, right? By the 10th year, right, they'll be hopefully challenging for a title. But along the way, if you collect a few cups or trophies along the way, that will be extra, icing on the cake for them, I guess. But of course, like I said, everything's in progression. Will the Newcastle owners stick with Eddie Howe for the next 2, 3, 4 years while they progress? Like what Scott is saying, when you bring in elite players at higher level, bigger egos that you can control, right? Understanding, how you're going to manage players like that, right? Then we will see the true colors that's going to happen there. But let me see who's coming back on. Okay, Elias is coming back on. And Elias, your thoughts on the game of Newcastle?
I didn't watch it. I'll be honest. Sorry, been a
Okay.
bit busy lately.
All
Newcastle was against West Ham, right? Isn't it?
Brentford.
Brentford.
Oh, Brentford. Sorry. See, I'm so not up to date these days. There's a lot of shit happening in the Spurs
Yeah,
community.
yeah.
Uh,
But then, yeah. But yeah, stick to the show, Elias.
yeah. Newcastle versus Brentford. I guess Newcastle was look kind of confident, and they have been having this good run. Especially, I think Alexander Isaac has been making a big difference. And if I'm not mistaken, it was him who scored the goal, one of the goals as well, right? I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Winner.
he has been that glimmer of hope, and he's a good striker, I think, properly with a bright future ahead. Uh, I actually wanted him at Spurs over Richarlison, but we got Richarlison, unfortunately. Uh, and let's see. Newcastle is going to be posing a bit of a challenge, and that's why, as I earlier said, that I want Everton to go down so that they can put pressure on Newcastle later when the game comes up against Everton versus Newcastle, so that we can grab that fourth spot, not
You're
Newcastle.
shameless, man. You're shameless.
I am quite shameless.
Yeah, yeah. But okay, guys, more or less we got all our thoughts on the Newcastle Brentford game. We'll move on to the next game. Of course, that game will bring to Kesha's face because, yeah, Fulham 0, West Ham 1. That pulls West Ham now up to 12th position, if I'm not mistaken, right? Kesha?
13th.
13. Okay. Oh, it
Yeah.
means you're still under. Oh, yeah. I forgot. Crystal Palace won
Yeah,
last night.
that was one. Yeah.
Yeah. Your thoughts on the game?
Okay. Let me see. Before the Fulham game, I was very, how would I put it? Very ashamed, disgusted about the performance, the 5-1. I didn't expect it. I have to, sometimes you have to give credit to Newcastle, and I'll give credit to them because they played very well. And I would, I have to say, we were all over the shop defensively, very poor, individual mistakes everywhere. I think, to be honest, watching the game, I was like, I don't know. We actually, to be honest, started well the first 5 minutes, and I thought, okay, let's give them a bit of a challenge to them. Let us give them a go. But then I thought after as the game gone on, uh, 50 minutes gone by, 2-0. And then I was like furious with the players. And then after that, it started to become a collapse everywhere from all over the pitch. Defensively, we looked tricky. I don't know what was wrong with Agord. He played so badly. Fabianski was again stupid with the fourth goal. Shouldn't have come out. Um, and then a few other Rice wasn't playing well. I thought, okay, that's it. Pull the trigger on Moyes because honestly, that the moment that I saw my team lose 5-1, I said, that's it, I'm done. I can't see this anymore. This is so embarrassing. From the way we played from start to finish, I was like, okay, this is bad. This is really bad. But again, to be honest, Newcastle looked very, very good on the ball, and I thought, okay, you know what, we deserve to lose 5-1. It's not to be honest just of the individual mistakes, but I think it's to do with tactically how we brought on the substitutes. Moyes doesn't change things. He doesn't impact the game. He doesn't know how to be able to come up against a side that is so good on the ball and is currently on form. Because if you look at the teams we've beaten, they're all in the bottom. Southampton, Forest, Everton, a few others. And all these teams is basically the teams where so-called must-win games. Every time when there's a must-win game, Moyes decides to uh, win the game when it's the most important thing. Okay, fine, fair play to him for that. But it's where you have to now face the sides who are better than you. And that, to be honest, that is where we struggle. And that is where I lost. I was furious with the game. I was furious. I couldn't understand how bad it was to lose 5-1. And I thought, okay, the board should be able to give. I always keep saying, I hope Moyes goes every single game. I say, no, I'm just tired of the man. I'm tired of him because how he's playing this team and how he's the football we are playing is so dire. It's very boring. It's unattractive, and he keeps playing the same players. He doesn't know how to integrate the new signings. All of these things is helping. It's sort of weighing us down, and I feel that, okay. I thought, okay, I was hoping, okay, 3 hours statement coming up, Moyes sacked. But of course, this board again didn't decide to do that. News came out saying Moyes in charge for the Fulham game. So I said, okay, let's see how we do. Another so-called must-win game. He decides to pull it up again. As again, I'm gonna say another shit performance from us. A own goal, but again, what kind of performance is that? I'm expecting us to go out again against a very good Fulham side. I know they haven't been playing well with Mitrovic getting the ban, but I thought, okay, I want to see a reaction. I want to see a confident reaction from the 5-1 loss. Attacking, we were shit. Every time we lost the ball, Fulham was in possession. We kept losing the ball. Fulham was in possession, and I thought, how are we going to get how are we going to get the win? How are we going to score? And I honestly say we actually quite lucky to be honest to get the win, but it was a much needed 3 points. And how do I say? I hope you guys understand how we've been playing. The manager is. I'm sorry. I know I've been backing Moyes when he came in. He's done a very good job for the past 2 seasons, but the way he's carried us forward is horrible. The way he's managed the players haven't been good. The way he sets us up, I don't know whether you've seen our games, but the way we play is very defensive. We sit back hoping for something to happen and counter. Well, that's not going to work. It's not going to work when you have a team like this. You need to have. A, I want my team to play well. I want my team to be on the front foot. But I keep seeing these performances. It's not. I don't want to watch. I really don't. I'm just tired of saying, okay, it's going to be another. It's going to be the same performance. He's going to play Suchak. He's going to play Kufal. He's going to play Fabianski. He played Fabianski after the horror show against Newcastle. Okay, I thought fine. Okay, let him redeem himself. Not bad. I would say yes against Fulham. Defensively, we were superb. I can say that yes, we actually defended, but attackingly, we looked so dire. Honestly, I don't know what to say with Moyes. The way he sets us up, and I don't want to go further, but good 3 points. We've got Arsenal next. I don't know what I'm hoping for that because the only miracle I can hope for is a draw. Because I watched the game yesterday. I thought Liverpool could have won it easily in the second half. It's a London derby. I hope we go out and win, but again, it's a free hit game for us. Let me say, West Ham do turn up for these games, and it's a good opportunity for us. But let me see, I'm Moyes out. I want him to go. I want a new manager. I feel like I want to delete the season all over and restart it, because honestly, this season honestly has been horrible for us. I hope you guys understand because I was pissed off during the game. I was really really pissed off because I just don't know. I thought okay, Newcastle. I thought okay, I didn't think it'd be that bad, 5-1, because it kept going on so badly. And yeah, I'm sorry, Moyes out for me. Thank you for the times, but you have to go. Simple as that. It's done. Even though we've got some tough games coming up. We've got Brentford, we've got Arsenal, we've got Man City, we've got Man United, we've got Liverpool. I don't even know how the F we're gonna pick up games from there. And we are okay. I know we are close to being safe, but with those games coming up, I'm just hoping for just a couple of more points. We actually can stay up, but it's just fingers crossed, hoping other teams do badly. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right. And of course, now we all come to the conclusion is Keshav is Moyes out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keshav has been Moyes out all this while. Whenever it comes onto my channel, it's always been Moyes out. But like he says, like the 3 points, right? I'll come to Ram. Ram, what do you think? West Ham. Ram?
I'm left on mute now.
Is he muted?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry for that. I think West Ham. I feel sorry for them because they have had results when they look promising to carry on the momentum. Then they disappoint again. I think I get where Keshav is coming from because he has seen them, on a high and then suddenly drop down again. So I think this is a situation where United was before as well. So I totally understand exactly how you feel, Keshav. But I also feel that when it comes to games like this against Fulham, for example, it was an own goal that actually got the points. But I think it's a valuable 3 points, as you said. And I think as far as Moyes is concerned, he seemed to me like he has had a good run. But I think you're right. Maybe his time has come to an end. Maybe he deserves to go somewhere else. Maybe West Ham deserves a new, fresh change because he doesn't change much. He just keeps the same squad every game in, game out. The same gameplay. I think that's one thing I noticed as well because there's always been the same counter-attacking play that West Ham has been playing, and you can't do that against this kind of bigger teams that you're going to play. They have to take the game to the team. This is where I see West Ham has been lacking, and to be honest, they do have the players that can do it. They have the players like Suchek. One of my favorite players in West Ham is Suchek because he's tall. He has that aerial presence. I think he can actually make a difference. Mikel Antonio, I see him that he's as good. So in conclusion, to me, West Ham do have players that can take on any team, but I think the manager has just got his tactics all wrong. I think if a different manager were to be part of the team, I think they would have taken it much better. But well done, West Ham, for this result. I think Fulham were just also unlucky because they had chances. Correct, Keshav? They had
Yep, yep.
chances to
And
actually make the game.
to be honest, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
There was actually a banner, Moyes saying Moyes out in the stand, and Moyes was asked a question, "What do you think about the banner coming out?" And he said, "I can't do anything about it." And the fact that he doesn't, what I notice about Moyes is that he's not. I don't know. When I see his press conferences, he says he likes to take a dig at the fans. He likes to say, we've done so well these past 2 seasons. The Lyon game we've done well. The Sevilla game we've done well. But let me ask a question. Why hasn't he talked about this season? Why hasn't he talked about why haven't you integrated the players well? Why has the results not been good for the past almost 1.5 seasons? Because honestly, we've actually been playing badly from last season also. Why haven't you delivered the attacking football we want? Because to be honest, the players we've actually got are very good players. They must be thinking, coming to the club, I don't want to be in this position when you're facing a relegation battle. What kind of club am I at? What we are saying in the contract is we are gonna, we are in a Europa Conference League and want to compete for trophies or compete for a good position, fine. But when you have a type of manager who's a defensive manager who doesn't know how to integrate a top player, or I would say quality player, when you have Paqueta and Skamaka, it's actually, to be honest, the same thing like what he had at Man United when he couldn't handle those big players.
Yeah.
And that's what screwed him up in the first place. So you're coming to a same team like West Ham, who has high expectations, but doesn't know how to deliver it. And when you give a dig at the fans, there's no way coming back. There's no way coming back. He disrespected the fans in a lot of press conferences he's done. And I don't like it. I want a manager who's passionate about the club. And one manager I can give you is Bilic. He's a former West Ham player. He knows the club. He's a very passionate manager. I know he didn't wasn't a tactically good manager, but he had the love for the fans. He had the support from the fans. Moyes, I don't have any support for him anymore because I've given up hope from him.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Before I continue, let me just give a shout out to the chats. Right. Big up to Luca. Luca's an Arsenal fan. Big up Chris Akambar. Big up to Chris Akambar. And of course, big up to Dunkles.com. Right. And guys, please, right, in the chats, right, if you haven't, please subscribe to Tottenham Way 2, a good associate channel of ours, right, that belongs to a close friends of ours, right, because there's a slight story behind that, but later I'll explain that to you in the back room. But if you have the time, please subscribe to Tottenham Away 2, right. Okay, guys, I'll come to Elias. Any thoughts on the Fulham West Ham game?
Again, I didn't watch that game.
You can be quick and
who
short.
who cares about West Ham these days? They're just going down.
All right, there's honest and blood. All right, okay. All right, we'll go to the next person. Uncle Rods, West Ham, what do you think?
West Ham. You see what it is with Moyes, yeah. What it is with Moyes is a sort of person. When he was with Everton, yeah, he sets himself up. He sets his team up not to lose, isn't they? And I think at the end of the day, teams that set themselves up to lose, not to lose, and they like your Roy Hodgson and so forth, right? They're very limited. There's only a plan A without a plan B. Because what actually happens at the end of the day, when somebody scores against you, you've done all the hard work at the end of the day to set yourself up not to be beaten, not to be scored against. When it happens now, right, there's no plan B. And that's what I see with Moisey. There's no plan B. When shit hits the fan and everything that, right, there's no plan B. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. He's done well in the day with West Ham. Yeah, he's done well with West Ham, sort of like obviously previously. But then when your back's against the wall, now it's time to show what you're made of as a manager. Now it's time at the day to set your team up and day to go to war. You understand what I'm saying? Because this is what it is, and it's going to war. You know what I mean? In certain games. You know what I mean? I don't think he's got that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I wouldn't go for Slaven. What's it, Slaven Village? I wouldn't go for him again because you've been there, done that. So I wouldn't go for him again. I will like try and move ahead. You know what I mean? And get get another manager that's gonna sort of like you feel that the day is gonna take you more forward. The game they had on the weekend where they won 1-0, 1-0. Yes, it's good 3 points for them still. But you would probably say at the end of the day, they should be beating those teams anyway. Do you know what I mean? You probably say that West Ham at the end of the day, the position on what they got themselves in, the players of what they got. 'Cause remember, they got Declan Rice, Antonio, Sushak. Do you know what I mean? Amongst others, they've got some good couple players in the squad. They got the have they got the Brazilian guy? And they've got a Brazilian guy that bought for Paqueta. Yeah, they've got some good players in their squad. So really and truly, when you think of it, and when you look at the whole picture of it, you will think that they should be beating these teams like Fulham. Do you know what I mean? But so often this season, and they slipped up against teams like your Fulham and so forth. That's why they're in the position of where they are now. With the players that they've got in their squad and everything that, right? They shouldn't be so far down the league. They should not be so far down the league. It's unacceptable to be in that position with the players that you got. It's unacceptable. It's literally unacceptable. You should be at least, at least sixth place. At least. Do you know what I mean? And then you cook on from there. Do you understand what I'm getting at? Now, this is not his first rodeo with West Ham. He's been with West Ham before. So really and truly, I'm expecting better out of a manager like that. I'm expecting better out of a team like that. Do you understand what I'm saying? So to me at the end of the day, there was no surprise at the end of the day that they went out and beat Fulham, because that's what they should be doing. They should be cooking teams like Fulham. They should be cooking them up. But so often at the end of the day, you've seen this season and they haven't done that. And I think it's all part at the end of the day of this bloody Europa Cup and Europa League that they're playing. It's taken too much out of them. And if I was him and everything that, right, in that Europa Cup, I will mix that team up with under 23s and experienced players and everything that, right, and try and save your most valuable players for the league and everything that. But no, he's not doing that. He's put a lot of his first team players into that competition, and he's taking enough out of them, and they ain't got nothing left for the Premier League, thus making them all the way down the bottom. Do you know what I mean? There has to be a rethink in the summer. There has to be a rethink, whether you keep the manager or you don't, but there has to be a rethink at the end of the day of how West Ham go forward. Because beating Fulham at the end of the day, you ain't gonna get no flowers from me beating Fulham. You're not gonna get no flowers for that. You know what I mean? If you went out there, you beat an Arsenal. If you went out there, you beat a Man City. You went out there, beat a Man United. You went out there, beat a Liverpool. You beat a Chelsea. You beat a Tottenham. Then we could talk. You understand what I'm saying? But so often in the day, you're coming up against these teams in the day, right? And you're falling short, which you shouldn't do anything, because you've got the players in the day to get the job done. That's the most upsetting thing about it. If I was a West Ham fan, that's what I'll be thinking. I think, well, hey, what? Listen, we've got the players to do this. Why aren't we doing it? Do you understand what I'm saying? So there needs to be a rethink in the summer of how West Ham go forward, because you can't have another season like this. Because if you have another season like this, what it would be at the end of the day, you'll go down. You'll literally go down. You know what I mean? And you cannot go down with the players that you got. You know what I mean? So a good result for them, but really, I wasn't surprised.
Okay, fair. And Doc, any comments on West Ham game?
I didn't get to watch the match at all, but I took note of the result because one of my best friends is a West Ham supporter. Another long-time suffering fan of some. Well, the choices we made when we were young, but we remain loyal nonetheless to the club and to the players. There are so many parallels, between what's happening to West Ham, right, in the style of play and all that, and what's happened to Spurs this season as well. So but the difference being that somehow we still find ourselves in a shooting in a position, keep place. So somehow or other, it's just It's just fortuitous for us to be still in the fray somehow. Yeah.
Mm.
But that's basically because on the whole, if you note, even though there might be some bad performances with some Spurs players, but you have one or two players who save you, like Son and Kane the other day.
Mm.
Yeah. And but with West Ham, it's like as if there's a pall over the whole team. You see, like there's a dark cloud, and everybody is playing under the dark cloud and all that.
Mm.
So this is a sure sign that something's wrong. With the captain of the ship. And I have lots of sympathy for you, Kashaf, regarding
Mm.
your predicament. And I think this what happened to Spurs in 2019, when Pochettino left. It's more or less the same situation.
Mm.
Sometimes you do have to make a change. The change might just be just a different person, not necessarily better, but a change you do need. So all the best to you.
Mm.
Okay. All right. And let me go to the chat for a while, talk to Headshot, right? I'm not sure whether he's asking you guys to point Pochettino, right? Or asking us to point Pochettino back. And to tell the truth, right? After we lost Pochettino in 2019, right? That dark cloud is still hanging over us. Doc, I don't think it's gone away, right? And of course, big up to Bobby K. Big up, Bobby. Hope you're doing well, right? Hope you're doing well, right? And of course, Elias is in the chat, right? I'll come to Johan. Johan,
Yep.
right? The West Ham game. Any thoughts on it?
West Ham, okay. I mean, after the thrashing they had at home, I think that's a very good result. Coming away with 3 points, and like Keshav said, I mean they were poor. I mean, this season, I mean, really bad compared to what we expected them from last season. So like, yeah, I gave up on the fantasy players from West Ham. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but like Keshav said, they somehow when push comes to shove, they win the big games when you're expecting Moyes to get the boot. And I mean, so far this season, nothing convincing and just scraps here and there. But I think they'll. I'll just be happy to stay up at the moment. Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Scottman. Scottman.
Yeah, it's funny listening to Keshav talking there, and I imagine Eugene and Elias know that's a lot of the same comments we've heard from some of our fans. I don't think it's quite true about Conte, but I won't get into that. That part will be here all day talking about it. But a lot of the same things that he said were the same things we've been hearing, and I just think it kind of shows you, right, that when that football that Moyes plays is working, and they're getting 7th last year, 6th the year before, everything's good. But when it falls off a bit, man, it really turns sour pretty quickly, right? So the football like that, his style football works when you're getting results. But this year, you can see how frustrating it is. I do wonder for West Ham, when listening to Keshav talk about kind of the way he wants the team to play, and a manager who I think might be more of a West Ham level right now than he was at his previous job. But if a guy like Potter moving over there would be a good fit for both the club and the manager, right? It's a level that gives Potter a little bit more finances than he had at Brighton, but I think not quite the pressure, not quite the egos that he had at Chelsea, and that might be a fit for him. I would say I think there might be a bit of a transition period that might be scary, because he's going to have a few players come in. He does not going to play the same style that Moyes did, and he might need a little bit of transition time. But if West Ham was willing to kind of go down that route, give him the time, that might be a marriage that works well both for West Ham and for Potter. But yeah, it is interesting hearing Keshav talking, because it sounded a lot like the conversation many Spurs fans were having all this season as well. But
Yep.
luckily for them, they still have a chance to win a cup, and maybe
I do,
because I don't know if there's anybody better than them left. Is there anybody significantly better in the Conference League? Sorry, I haven't paid attention to it.
We are facing Ghent, Danish side on Friday morning. I'll be watching the game. It seems that they're on a very good winning run. They're doing well in the Danish league, but I'm just praying, hoping that something is good coming out from the Conference League. I want us to go full out, regardless of Premier League. I'm leaving that aside, but we've done very well in the Conference League. I think we've got what 11 wins or 10 wins. I think I think the first side to win 10 wins in a row than any other team. I think in first time in the Conference League. But I, from my expectation, I think we can win the trophy. But what my worry is that when we faced Frankfurt in the semi-final of the Europa League, we started off very badly on the front foot that game, and everything fell apart. So I hope this time it not just gives the club a boost, but if we do go through to the semi-final, it gives the club massive confidence. It gives me hope that we can start to dream a bit and win that trophy, which I do hope we win. But there's actually a lot of tweets that are coming up from West Ham fans saying that if we do stay up and Moyes does win the Conference League, do you still keep him? Well, to be honest, no, I still want him gone because I want him. I thank him a lot for what he's done, and if he wins a trophy, thank you. You finally won a trophy for yourself and the club. And please go, and we get a new manager and a fresh start. That's what I want. So I hope that is.
So he leaves on a good note, I guess.
Yeah, I do hope that's the case. Yeah.
And big up, Bobby. You're still driving, Bobby?
Big up, guys. Sorry, yeah, just finished, man. On my way home.
Oh, that's good.
Coming.
Bobby, it feels like you've gotten a new driving job. Every time we see you, you are driving.
That's it, man. Yeah. It comes with the job. No, that's early finished today. So
Hey, Bobby, big up.
Big up, Bobby.
Big up.
Yeah. And just to tell you guys, right, if West Ham, right, wins the Conference League, right, what are we
And
Spurs
get
fans?
relegated.
Yeah, I don't know. No
It doesn't
relegation.
matter whether we get relegated, right? They've got a trophy in for us in the last decade.
I'll probably speak for every Spurs fan that I hope that the bottom 8 win every single game now, just so we can see Chelsea in a relegation dogfight.
Oh, Chelsea.
Love that.
We don't even have a Chelsea fan on.
Imagine Chelsea win Champions League and get relegated.
And West Ham wins the Conference League and get relegated. Yeah, imagine that, right?
Let's
And we
not
get
put that up.
and then Manchester United, right, wins the Europa League, right? And then
And we
we
finish
get
4th. Yeah.
and we can't even get into the Champions League. Oh, that would be the biggest. I don't know what to say anymore.
Biggest joke in English football.
No, the biggest curse that we've been put on part of us. I'm not sure about that, right? But okay, a lot of us know about the West Ham game, right? So I've come to the conclusion, right? At the moment now, West Ham has reached a stage, right? What Scott says is very simple, right? The parallels that shows, right? The style of football they've been playing, and what the fans have been saying, and of course we've got ridden of our manager, and I'm not sure what's going to come next for Spurs, right? But since Uncle Rod's not here at the moment, so I guess we'll go and talk about this game since Bobby's here. Spurs 2, Brighton 1. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 Spurs fans here. But okay, I'll give Doc, right? Doc, since you might be rushing off for time, right? I'll give you the chance to speak first.
Well, I'm just glad we got the 3 points. There was so many bright moments, yes. But it's always this thing about when you're ahead. I always feel that the best way ahead is, of course, you have to exercise caution, because if you're gung ho in going forward and all that, you bomb forward and you leave gaps in the back and all that, it will be a problem. But you still need that second goal, that second goal cushion. To make sure that you have a proper platform, because there's always a risk that the opposing team might nick one, and that's what happened with the tall fellow. What's his name? Dunk, right? Running around the back of the whole defense, and then relatively unmarked. And with the who was it? Number 14, Perisic, noticing him at the very last moment and could do nothing. So I think we've got the bits and pieces, but somehow he hasn't come together yet. And in the interim coach somehow got himself out of fired from the field, red carded and all that. And I had sympathy for him because he was keeping quiet. At the beginning of the game, he had this altercation with Roberto De Zerbi, and that was a bit odd. He seems like a very passionate and temperamental fellow, but he seems very calm. I like his calmness and all that. But the way he plays is he hasn't changed much. Probably half of his mind is thinking that I'll be rejoining Conte soon. I wouldn't want to be showing him up too much. Yes, so so. But when he got sent off, and the other coaches took over, so I think there were a few bright substitutions. It's good to see Danjuma finally on the field. I would like to see more of him if possible, and see how we kick on with him. With Kulusevski not having found any rhythm or any form at all since he came back from injury. So I think it's worthwhile trying him out, and I'm looking forward to the next match, next game, and to see how we shape up in terms of the formation and some flexibility in the way we approach things. I'm always a proponent of flexible formations and tactical, to be on the front foot in terms of tactical changes. You have to anticipate and watch the game and all that. So it needs a very a coach who's having a good look at this thing with all the technology that they have nowadays. With the match being followed by the assistants and all that. I'm sure they would have spotted some of the gaps or some of the areas of weakness that they have to address then and there. It's not something that you note and then you have a video session after the match and then you look on, because that's a different opponent. So to be on the front foot in terms of the timeliness, in terms of responding to the task at hand in dealing with your opponent is very important. And we still seem to be doing the substitutions a bit late, but now maybe a bit better. So hopefully the next match we'll see how we shape up. So I'm always optimistic. I'm sort of a half glass full sort of guy. So at the end of the day, otherwise, what is the reason for us to be doing all of this? Okay, and keeping the flame alive, right? So there you go. Of course, with half an eye on the other matches, Manchester United, Newcastle, so on and so forth. But this one is, like I said before, I always try to enjoy all the other matches, because at the end of the day, we're all football fans after all. Okay, we enjoy the game first and foremost, even though we have all our respective loyalties and all that. But the most important thing is we've got the tough fixtures coming up with Liverpool, yes, and all that. So let's see how the pieces will fall in place, and at the same time, another one of the things that is occupying my thoughts at the moment is who will be the next manager and all that. So there's so many candidates, all of them good, but there's always this thing about when you make changes like what Chelsea have done, right? And it was a failed experiment. But I think the candidates that we've got to replace Conte eventually are all good. But I think the proper due diligence must be made in terms of which coach we plumb for in the end. That's all. Thank you.
All right. And of course, Doc, question is, how lucky was Spurs to get away with that?
Of course, you've got what two goals ruled out, yes, for handball,
Yeah.
and then
Two or
the penalty that the professional the referees what was it, the association or something like that, the
apologize for
authority admitting that there was it was an error and all that.
EGMOL, yeah.
But I mean at the end of the day, like I'm what Kishan has said just now. I mean, who cares? I have to take the 3 points and run away with it. Thank you very much.
That's good. That's good. And let me come to Bobby, since you're driving, Bobby. Your thoughts on the game, and of course the question: how lucky we will get away with it?
Well, I'm over the moon. I've got 3 points. It was must needed. If Brighton had got the 3 points, there only would have been a point or so behind us with 2 games in hand, or a game in hand. So, over the moon that we've got the 3 points. We're unbeaten in 4, and Bournemouth next. So you'd hope that there's a bit of momentum, and if you can't beat Bournemouth, you might as well give up. But stand back, look at the bigger picture. We were absolutely shit. We got away with it. We were absolutely lucky. The referee, I don't know if Conte or giving him a bit of money beforehand. But yeah, we got away with it. We were lucky. Damn, Silo, we were the worst team. We made a good team look world class. Brighton are good. They play great football, but when you play against a footballing team and you don't know the ABC of closing the opposition down, they're going to look better than what they are. So yeah, we totally got away with it, and we need to improve. The after-match conference get-together meeting, I suppose the meeting would have been short. You've played shit, you must do better. See you later. That's it. That's all they need to know. And I think the players know that themselves. Thank God for Harry Kane. Nothing wrong with being a Kane FC. With regards to the manager, don't care. It's irrelevant. With Lee Nick in charge, Mason in.
That's true. Right. And let me get to Elias then. Elias, Brighton 2? No? Spurs 2, Brighton 1?
Yeah, I think the first goal could have been what you call it. I think that was a valid goal from Brighton, and it's a shame that it wasn't called off. And that's where I feel that VAR has to take a bit of responsibility. I do believe that we were very lucky to get the 3 points, because Brighton, in a way, deserved to win. Given the penalty and all that, I think the decisions should have gone in their favor. Although I'm happy as a Spurs fan that yes, we managed to grab the 3 points, but overall as a football fan, I think it's a bit of a shame. The inconsistencies of VAR have been costing teams on the fair results many times, and I think we didn't deserve to win. However, I don't think Brighton were that great either throughout the game. They were playing well. They were playing decent, but they were not really bad, and I don't think we were that excellent. But in the end, I think it could have been a draw in my opinion, given the way the teams were playing. It would have been a fair result, but I think the way the decisions went into our favor. Of course, I'm happy that we got 3 points in this business end of the season. Yeah, that's not true. It's a lie. Yeah.
But okay, Scott, I guess you will be the last person to have a comment on this.
Yeah, like Doc, I'm known as a guy who's glass half full as well, so I'll come to bring my usual positivity. Yeah, no, I mean it was like Bob said, it was a really poorly played game by us, and I think what the decisions, the referee and VAR decisions, kind of overlook or make us overlook a bit was how poor our defense was on those goals. And even though it was a handball, close call for the Matoma goal, Dyer didn't know that when he gave the ball away to create the chance. The defense didn't know that when they let Matoma run down the middle of the field to create the chance. And that's the kind of the problem, right? Is those calls shouldn't overshadow the fact that our players didn't know it was going to be a handball when they made the terrible plays. When Højbjerg let the Brighton player who took the shot, I can't remember who took the end shot, he didn't know that when he gave him all that space, that it was going to be ricocheted off an arm. And that's the problem that I find with the game more than even the calls, is that it's the same defensive breakdowns that we've seen for 4 years now, right? We're seeing the exact same things that are costing us games. It's happened under Jose Nuno, happened under Poch his last season, happened under Conte. And so we've seen enough times that if we change the managers, that isn't the difference that we need, right? That's not changing the mistakes we're seeing, but we still are seeing the exact same players. Maybe not the exact same, a lot of the same players and a lot of the same kinds of players are making those mistakes.
Just hold on. Doc has got to leave, right? So Doc, I will catch up with you later. Explain something to you. Maybe you can help us out a bit later. I'll give you a call or after the show or something. If you're still awake, if you're going to sleep, I'll talk to you tomorrow morning then. Right, Doc?
Hey, thanks everyone. It was a great session.
All the
Nice
best.
meeting you, Doc. Have a good day. Take care.
Have a good day, Doc.
Bye.
Bye. Sorry, Scott.
Yeah, but it's just the same thing that we've been saying over and over again. Whether the calls were legit or not legit, the players didn't change the way they were defending because they thought it was going to be a handball, right? And it's the same mistakes. And whether it's a handball or not, it doesn't excuse how poor our defense was leading up to those chances. And then, the Højbjerg one, that's that's a penalty. Whether, if some people are getting quite technical about what is a penalty or not, and that's fair enough. I'll let them debate that. They know the laws better than I do. But it was a reckless play by Højbjerg again to stomp on his foot, and it's just, we get the 3 points, hooray! But man, it's frustrating just watching the same mistakes over and over again and not seeing the club do anything to change it.
Scott,
And, as Bob said, I agree with him. Who cares who the manager is? Mason.
Yeah.
I'm on the same Bob train. Sure, let's have it be Mason because it doesn't make a difference until we make changes above the manager. Sure, Mason in, Ledley King in, Daniel Levy in, Elias in, whoever. It's all the same.
But Scott, the fact that the PGMOL, MLO, whatever it is, have come out and apologised to Brighton just states that, just confirms that it should have been a penalty. But like you say, the furore over the injustice towards Brighton just overshadows. You're spot on, man. Spot on. Just overshadows how shit we were. Dyer was again.
Yeah, that we focus so much on that, and I haven't heard much talk about the game. I understand why, right? Because refereeing and VAR decisions is annoying for everyone, right? We all get up in arms about it, but I think if you look at the actual game, you take the controversy of those decisions out. It was a poor game. It was not a well played game by us, and that's really what's concerning going forward, because that's all we really have now, right? We're not. This season is kind of done already. We're looking going forward, and going forward, it's just more signs of how bad off we are and how many changes we need.
Maybe the Brighton manager should have given the linesman a bit of an elbow, because apparently he can do that now.
Right.
But before we continue, right, I'll get on to Ram. Ram, your thoughts on the Brighton game?
Big up, Ram.
Well, hey, hi, Bob. How are you?
Yeah, good.
Yes. I think as long as you're playing at home, you have to show that your home game, every home game has to be like a fortress. You have to make sure that you work the teams out. You take on most chances, score as many goals as you can. Worry those things. But I think it was the opposite. Against Brighton, because I felt Brighton could have won the game, to be honest. Because to me, Mitoma was a great striker. Of course, he's always been a wonderful addition to the Brighton team, and I think they are a good side under the Zerbi. So it's just a matter of time before they start getting all these kind of results against those bigger teams. As for Spurs, good 3 points. Congratulations to all of you guys. It's a good 3 points because you guys are climbing up further up, in the top 5. So it's just a matter of how you guys build from there. But I think you guys are right, because I've seen Spurs play for so many games, and I realized that it's one common mistake. It's always about the manager. They're not really showing what they can actually do from time to time, and they're not really fixing the real problem that is at hand. You have the players to take on as much as possible, So I think all I can say is be happy with the results. As long as the win, be happy with it. See what happens from there and build from there. Yeah.
And Ram,
I think Ram. Just fine. I think what it was, Ram. If it was just a poor performance and we got 3 points, and it was out of the blue, then I think there'd be a bit more acceptance. Oh, we played poorly, but we won. On we go. I think it's just a continuation of poor performances, negative football, and us to an extent getting away with it. It's just not got better. So, hey, a win against Brighton is great, especially with the way Brighton have been playing and the way De Zerbi set them up. But I think it's because it's just been that consistent poor performance after poor performance and negative football. I think that again is leaving sour tastes in mouths.
Yeah.
And Ram,
Totally
before you drop off, right? Ram, Plot Malaysia, when your show's coming up, and it's good to have you guys back, right? Because you guys been on a hiatus for such a long time, bro.
They did a stream last week.
Yeah. We did a couple of shows recently. So because I just became a dad. So
congratulations!
Thank you very much. So since the
Congrats.
time my daughter was born, it's been very difficult for us to come up with some shows. But now we are back on. Thank you guys for your support. see you on our show soon, and we'll be happy to have all of you as our guests in the future as well. So watch the Plot Malaysia on YouTube. Enjoy it.
100%.
Thank you.
And your tagline is what?
For the fans, by the fans. Yeah.
For the fans, by the fans,
Big
right?
up.
Plot Malaysia. Big up, right? All right. And
Thank you
next
so
person.
much, Eugene.
All right.
See you later, Ram.
And right, Ram, take care. All right.
Take care, guys. Take care, Bob. Good
See you
seeing you
later,
again.
Ram.
I'll
See you
see you
later,
guys
buddy.
really, really soon. Take
See you
care.
later, bro.
Bye.
And I'll come to Johan because Johan's going to leave soon too before we actually come to the Liverpool game. That will be actually an interesting one, right? Johan, the Brighton
Yeah.
Spurs game, your thoughts?
Okay. Spurs. I mean, I have to agree. I mean, Brighton. They are the surprise package of the season besides Newcastle. And they played. I think they played well. Just unlucky that they got some goals ruled out. But I think Spurs. Good comeback to win it at almost at the end. So. I mean, even though without the manager, you all are still there trying to keep the dream alive. So, yeah, but that's Spurs,
Says Spurs, try to keep the dream alive. That's a good one. That's a good one. Try to keep the dream alive. Okay, my thoughts on this is very simple, right? I've been saying all the while there's a narrative behind all this. Whenever we are the favorites, we will win, right? We will draw or lose. Whenever we are not the favorites, we will win somehow or another. And yesterday, the somehow or another was the VAR, the referee, everything that you could see wrong, right? Oh my God, it is what it is. It is what it is. And I don't want to go there, right? But like a lot of us been saying, right? It's so parallel between West Ham and Spurs, but somehow or another Spurs we're fighting for the top four, and West Ham is somehow fighting for the Conference League, right? At least that's a cup. But somehow or another, they somehow or another be pulled into a relegation battle along the way. But of course, I'm happy for the win, but I don't think things are going to be any much more rosier. I guess we will beat Bournemouth at home, right? But the real test is coming after that. The next 3 games between Newcastle. Don't forget, we're playing you guys, right? Newcastle, Manchester United, and Liverpool, right? And if we do break through that, then maybe we might have a chance of actually reaching the top 4 trophy. Yay, whatever that means. But guys, before Uncle Ross comes back, right, I have to put this up, right, because I keep forgetting. We have to celebrate this because, Sonny, 100 goals.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Sonny, 100 goals, first Asian player to reach that. Proud to be Asian, right? Proud to be Asian. Right, so big up to Sonny, right? And before we go on to the Liverpool-Arsenal game, right? Amirali, right? He's got a question for us for the panel. Would you guys take Ruben Amorim at Tottenham? Guys, Amirali, to tell the truth, right? Ruben Amorim has rejected us, so it doesn't matter whether we'll take him or not. So that's how I feel, right? Scott, will you take Ruben Amorim?
I mean, turning away the fact that I think it doesn't matter who the manager is, and I'll pretend for this question that it does. He wouldn't be at the top of the list, but I wouldn't be like severely against it. I think that he seems to have had some success. I will still maintain. I think we should be looking at top level managers, a level like we had it with Conte. We are a top 10 club, if not higher, in the world. We're a big club with tons of money, with a great location, great stadium. We have everything in place to go for top level managers. So I wouldn't hate it. He seems like he'd be a decent guy, but I think that if we're making that decision, then that's kind of we're hoping to get Europa League every year. We're hoping to get that we can get 6th and maybe get lucky on a cup run to make the semifinals. And that's not what I want to see for the club. So,
all right. And guys, don't forget, you guys in the chats, right? Please subscribe to Tottenham Way 2, right? The YouTube channel created by Tottenham Away. Okay, please go over and show some love and support, right? And big up to Daniel Sandoval, right? Big up to Daniel Sandoval, right? And the question about Amorim, like I was saying, right? And that's a statement from our CFO, Mr. Scott M. All right, Johan, have you got to make a move yet, or you still have some time?
I've got an early day tomorrow, so nice nice hearing from everybody, and see you all soon. And
Big
Yeah,
up.
catch up. Maybe catch up next week. Johan. Take care.
yeah,
Take
sure.
care. Bye bye.
All right, take care.
Right.
Thanks. Nice.
Yeah. All right. Ruben Amorim. Elias, what do you think?
No, I won't take him. Not my kind of manager. No.
Okay. All right. Bobby, Ruben Amorim? Yes or no?
No, Mason in.
Mason in. All right. And now let me ask the neutral fans, right? Keshav, would you like Ruben Amorim to come to Spurs or to West Ham? That's the painful one, right? And Keshav, you're muted, Keshav. Can't hear you.
You
Sorry about that,
muted.
Sorry. What was I saying? I think Ruben Amorim to Spurs will be interesting appointment. I do think that I can see Ruben Amorim being a good manager for Spurs because I think that he can bring some, I would say, a good attacking philosophy to Spurs. I think he plays a very good style of football. And also, I do know that Marcus Edwards plays for Sporting. I think he's from Spurs, if I'm not mistaken. So I think maybe that could be a good link for him to go from Sporting back to Spurs. I think he plays a three at the back, if I'm not mistaken. I think it would fit Spurs kind of play right now. I think that's what I do know.
Spurs fans hate it. Spurs fans hate three at the back. Do you know that?
Really? Okay.
No, not us. Not us, but those deluded, plastic.
There are a lot of Spurs fans out there that doesn't.
We don't like three at the back with these defenders.
Yeah, we
I mean,
don't.
that's
But I do think in terms of West Ham manager position, I don't want Ruben Amorim. There's a lot of links to in terms of Brendan Rodgers coming in, but I like Brendan Rodgers a lot. I do like him a lot. I think he's a very vocal manager. I think that he would bring a sense of sort of identity and philosophy back to West Ham because I do think we need that. And I feel that I don't want to go back for another Sam Allardyce, Roy Hodgson. All those, to be honest, are very boring types of appointments. I would like someone more attacking, very entertaining manager. To be honest, I think the names that come to my mind, which I think would fit us very well, would be Brendan Rodgers,
Harry Potter.
Graham Potter, I forgot the other manager. I think it was Ralph Hasenhuttl. I really like.
You like the 9-0 guy?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let me make a point.
9-0 guy. Okay, you like the 9-0 guy, right?
Like the 9-0. I do think there's a lot of good things I can say about Ralph Hasenhuttl. I think he's a very attacking manager, and I think we do need that for our club. I like how he plays. He's a very he focuses a lot on pressing, Guggen pressing. He's got a very rigorous style of play, aggressive, which I do think will fit us. There's a lot of managers out there which I think are not too bad actually. I think there's a lot. Jesse March. In regards to Leicester, I think they're looking at appointing a new manager. I think very shortly. Dean Smith, I think, is coming. If I'm not mistaken.
Dean Smith.
Yeah, former Aston Villa manager. It seems that actually Leicester looking at Rafa, if I'm not mistaken, also just a few hours ago.
All right. Let's see
yeah.
how that goes. Yeah, right. Uncle Rod's, the Ruben Amorim thing for Spurs. Do you think he'll be a good fit, or if Klopp goes, would you guys want him?
I think it'd be a good fit for Spurs because I think really and truly, I mean, I don't think Ryan Mason's going to be the good fit for Spurs. Ryan Mason's had his chance, and he wasn't really what you wanted. He wasn't really that sort of manager. He's not that manager that is going to take you further because you want a manager today that's going to take you up the table. Do you know what I mean? And kick you on. Do you know what I mean? And when you look at this,
there's a reason why. There's a reason why I've constantly said Ryan Mason in. And there is a secret agenda. Well, there's a hidden agenda. Simply, whoever we get in, mate, it's irrelevant. The reason why I want Ryan Mason in is because he's a Levy yes man, and he'll fuck shit up. With all due respect, he's not a great manager. but getting anyone in under this ownership is totally irrelevant. So Ryan Mason in till there's changes where changes need to be made, because till then it's totally irrelevant. You could get Pep in, it'd be totally irrelevant.
I know what you're saying, but it's
You can get Klopp in, it'll be,
we're in the same position because we got owners at the end of the day that sort of like are not very good and stuff, right? But at the end of the day, right, if Klopp goes and everything, I still want that standard of a manager at the end of the day that at least is going to go and do something. I don't want a manager that I know at the end of the day is not going to be able to do anything. It's going to bring it's not going to be able to sort of like do what Klopp's done. He's going to sort of like take us down the table, and from that, I do more mark for the club. You know what I mean? I know the situation with Levy. Do you know what I mean? I know it's fucked up. Do you know what I mean? I know it is, but really and truly, at the end of the day, you have to sort of like say, right, you know what, didn't they? Let's reset the manager first, in the end of the day, right, and then you can go for sort of like putting pressure in on the board. Do you know what I mean? But you need that manager in place at the day that's going to try
We've
at
had,
least try.
we've had those managers in place.
Get you there. But like getting Ryan Mason in at the day to fuck shit up at your club, it's not the answer. Trust me, my friend. It is not the answer. You know what I mean? If you want to put pressure on Levy to leave or stuff like that, everybody as fans at the club together and put pressure on Levy to leave and everything like that. But having that manager that you know at the day is going to mess shit up with your club and everything like that, it's not going to do anything for your club. If anything, it's going to be much more worse than keeping Levy. Trust me, it's going to be much more worse. You know what I mean?
It won't make a difference. That's the thing.
No,
right? Like, you can have Conte or Mason. We're going to do nothing, no matter who the manager is.
Our Mason in thing is just a total rhetoric on this. You understand? So our fan base, we believe that whoever we bring in now, it doesn't matter, right? Because even if you can bring in Klopp, it doesn't matter because our owners are our owners, right? But the problem is that since our fan base has accepted, meow, 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 right? What we are is what we are, right? So at the moment now, we'll go away from the manager appointments about Spurs because we can talk about that until the moon falls off the sky and nothing will change, right?
For real.
Yeah, that's real, right? But okay, I guess the most exciting game of the week was actually Liverpool 2, Arsenal 2, right? For being a Spurs fan, I'm not sure whether we are most of us are happy about this result because we are happy that Arsenal didn't get the 3 points to get closer to the title, but we are also happy that it grew because Liverpool can't catch up to us in the race for whatever we're going for, right? Since Uncle Ross, you're here, I'm sure you went through. Did you do a watch along yesterday on this game?
Yes, I did. I did a watch along. Okay. I did a watch along.
Yeah. I would like to know how you felt about it.
It was a game of two halves. You know what I mean? Arsenal started off well, as you thought they would. Do you know what I mean? They got in and amongst us and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Played the ball very well. Good attacking football. Good at defending, winning also. So they did what you thought they would do at the day for a team at the day at the top of the table. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But then Granit Xhaka, which I think Granit Xhaka is their loose cannon. Granit Xhaka is Arsenal's loose cannon, I think that right? Because he had a little ding dong at the day with sort of like with Trent Alexander. Yeah, ding dong with him. Kanate comes in and say, "Yo, fam, what you doing?" Started like pushing that man and stuff. Yeah, and from that, I think Arsenal lost his way because what happened then? He riled up the Anfield crowd. One thing you don't do is when you go to Anfield, do not rile up the crowd and everything that because it's an uphill battle from there. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right. So then, of course, Liverpool got back into the game when they got the goal just before half time. And then in the second half, what was it in the second half? It was a totally different game. It was all over Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? Arsenal still had their little chances, but predominantly we was all over Arsenal. Then we got the goal from Bobby Firmino when he came on because he loves a goal against Arsenal. And then Darwin Núñez could have scored, which what he should have done is he should have took it round the goalkeeper, and he got an empty net, or should have dinked the goalkeeper, one of the two. But he tried to shoot. He tried to put the ball underneath the goalkeeper. Do you know what I mean? The goalkeeper saved it, and then obviously Konate towards the end when he should have just got his head on it, but he hesitated and he's come off his chest, and Ramsdale has called it, literally called it off the line. Do you know what I mean? But Ramsdale did play good in that game. Do you know what I'm saying? Now, well, I said at the beginning, I said that at the background, when he was in the background, backstage. Sorry, when he was in the backstage, I did say I've got a newfound respect for Arsenal, and I would actually like to see Arsenal win the league, because when we had the minute silence for the 96 people, because it's the anniversary for the 96, yeah. When you had the minute silence, all the Arsenal fans were quiet. Didn't disrespect it. They cried. They was quiet. They showed respect at the end of the day for the minute silence, and also, Mikel Arteta was wearing a badge of 96. He's wearing a badge today when he came to Anfield. I feel that there was class, and it showed absolute respect and everything that to Liverpool. And for that, and the day, I want them to win the title, not Man City. I want them to win it. So go on, Arsenal, win that title. But it was a really, really good game. They were probably right. You see what it is today, right? If they win the title, they're going to look back on the game yesterday and say, yo, you know what? Ramsdale saved us a couple of times. It was because of Ramsdale, his performance at Anfield at the day, that enabled us to kick on and win the title, yeah? If they don't win it, trust me, at the end of the day, right, they're going to blame Granit Xhaka. And I feel at the end of the day, Arsenal going forward need to get rid of Granit Xhaka, sell him. Because they give Granit Xhaka too many chances in the end of the day, right? And he's a loose cannon. Because remember, like with the Crystal Palace game and everything that, when he's telling the crowd to F off and all them sort of things there. And he's done so many things in the day that, you know what I mean, that's kind of like put Arsenal in this position at the end of the day, you know, a position which just shouldn't be in, that you have to think to yourself, well, look, at the end of the day, do we really need him? Do we really need a loose cannon like that around us and from that? You know what I mean? Is this person and they going to stop us from greatness? Do you understand what I'm saying? So I think in the summer and they should be looking to ship Granit Xhaka along in that, right? Because you got people like Thomas Partey, which you can actually make as captain. Because when all that fracas was going on, yeah, of all the players, yeah, that got involved, Thomas Partey did not get involved. He just stood there. He just stood away from the problems and everything that, right, all the troubles, and just said, look, nothing to do with me. Do you know what I mean? And that's what you want. Granit Xhaka is supposed to be sort of like, Granit Xhaka is that person, and he's probably one of the oldest in the team, and he's probably one of the most experienced in the team. Other players look up to him. So other players look up to him and they see him doing what he does. They're gonna think it's all right for them to do that. Do you know what I mean? Me at the day, if I was Mikel Arteta in summer, I'll be looking to ship him along. He's too much of a loose cannon. But you know what I'm saying today, Arsenal for the title. Arsenal for the title.
Sorry, Uncle Raj, your players look up to Granit Xhaka. Did you just say that?
The players in Arsenal, not my players.
Oh,
the players in Arsenal.
I was like, Liverpool players look
younger
at Granit
players.
Xhaka.
Huh?
No, he
No,
thought
I
it
was
was
like,
a Liverpool player. He thought it was a
yeah,
Liverpool
I also thought.
Yeah. Oh no, Liverpool players don't look up to him. Do you know what I mean? They're probably if there's anybody in the Liverpool squad, in the Arsenal squad that the Liverpool people players will probably admire, is Thomas Partey. Because Thomas Partey, and then he comes in, does what he does, and comes out. He doesn't really get involved in shit. That's what I'm trying to say. He doesn't get involved in shit. He comes in, does his job and everything that, right, and and he goes home. Do you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? That's what you want in a player. You don't want a player and that's going to get involved in any little thing, make your team lose their cool, and then before you know it, you're losing a game or drawing a game that you probably could have won. Do you understand what I'm getting at? Do you know what I mean? You do not come to Anfield and round up the crowd at Anfield. You don't do that. You do not do that. You know what I mean? Because that's a road to hiding. Do you know what I mean? Because if you notice, after that, I think that Liverpool started to get their game together. So to get the game together from that, and the crowd was behind them, yeah, and then they got their goal before half time. The second half and everything that the crowd was behind them and they right, and they had 80% of possession in that second half. Do you understand what I'm saying? So they made a mistake. He made a mistake. You know what I mean? So look, it should look to ship him on in the summer and say, look, you know what? Sorry, mate, you need to go for the good of the team.
I think Uncle Rod's right. If Arteta bottles this, right, and I've been saying all this while since Arsenal's been top of the league, right? Mikel Arteta, Pep Guardiola has actually gift wrapped this title to Mikel Arteta because he's got more or less his focus is more on the Champions League. If
Looks like
Manchester City goes deep into the Champions League or all the way to the final, right, then you got Arsenal will have a very good chance of winning it because his focus won't be there, right? But I guess a lot of Arsenal fans will be shouting for Arteta's head if they don't win it. So that's Arsenal's problem, right?
Yeah, they probably will be. They probably will be. No doubt. And then they're gonna
They
do
also
that
need to get rid of Xhaka and Arteta and whoever they need to get rid of. But, let's see.
Yeah.
By the way, what's wrong with all the teams? All the Liverpool fans, MU fans, even a lot of them actually, they want Arsenal to win the title, including Chelsea. By the way, they want Arsenal to win the title this season. I'm surprised.
I didn't first. But I'll be honest with you, I didn't first anything. I wanted Man City to win anything that. But the way I see the Arsenal fans conduct themselves at the end of the day, right, at Anfield yesterday, made me feel that they deserve to win the title. Because they showed absolute class yesterday. Even Mikel Arteta and everything that, right? He didn't have to wear the badge of 96 yesterday. To show tribute to Liverpool. He didn't have to do that, but he done it. The mere fact at the day that he done it, do you know what I mean? I have to. You have to respect the fans and the manager. Do you know what I mean? And that's why I'm saying that. You know what? Because it wasn't anything. When the season at the day that we won the title, season one won the title, and like Man City and then they was give us the guard of honor, and they got Bernard Silva for that. He refused to shake the hands of the Liverpool players. He refused to shake the hand of them. You know what I mean? And that's what I call classless. Do you know what I mean? But them man there showed class yesterday. Them Arsenal people, fans, and the manager showed class yesterday. From that, that's why I have to big them up. I have to big them up and say, yeah, you know what? Probably you do deserve to win the title. Do you know what I mean? You understand me? You know?
Yep.
But if you win it, if you win it, you'll win it, and you'll deserve to win it. That's the Premier League, right? I'll come to Kesha. Yeah, I'll come to Kesha. Liverpool 2, Arsenal 2. Any thoughts on that?
I did watch the game with my brother, and he was so excited.
I forgot to tell you, yeah, Kesha's brother is a Liverpool fan. Yeah.
Oh, get in there, catch up.
Yeah.
Get him in my group. Get him in my group.
So he was actually hoping for Liverpool to win. Actually, I thought it was a very good game, very entertaining game. And we are facing Arsenal next, so that's going to be a nightmare. But yeah, I thought Arsenal actually, to be honest, I thought Arsenal was very lucky. Very lucky. First, I think 20 minutes, I think especially the first goal from Martinelli, Van Dijk actually, to be honest, actually passed it accidentally to Martinelli. Then he sort of scraped it through and scored. I thought that could have been cleared off, sort of defended that easier. And I thought the second goal, especially, Van Dijk could have again defended that better because I think almost both of the goals could have been cleared off. But anyways, Arsenal were actually, to be honest, Arsenal had most of the possession during the first half. Liverpool, to be honest, played the same way, and not really that many changes from Klopp. I feel what I've seen from Klopp actually, from an outsider, is that I feel Klopp keeps playing the same formation. He doesn't like to experiment, especially when Liverpool are in a difficult position right now. He doesn't like to experiment in terms of playing a different formation, like 3 at the back, or maybe 4-4-2, maybe going out more attacking. Because I feel like, especially using players like Henderson is not going to work out. Fabinho's looking very slow. So I thought maybe he could have changed things against Arsenal, but he didn't. So I thought, okay, 2-0. Okay, I was hoping Liverpool would score, and finally they did score before halftime. Salah scored a good tapping goal, and I thought, okay, it gives Liverpool much more confidence. So second half, I thought Arsenal actually, to be honest, weren't even in the game. Actually, I thought Liverpool controlled it, aggressive, on the ball, attacking, all what I've seen from Liverpool. And I thought it was actually very nice to watch Liverpool. Really nice to watch Liverpool. And when you see Liverpool starting to get possession, I thought, okay, they will score, they will score. And they had so many opportunities actually to be honest, they could have carved Arsenal apart really in the second half. It could have been 5 or 4 or 5 actually. And who scored? Firmino, what a brilliant header from Firmino. Yeah, really lifted the crowd. And I think, to be honest, when Liverpool play like that, consistently adding in Bellingham, adding in maybe a few more players like quality players like maybe more of like a Bellingham, they'll be right there. The problem with them is I feel that Klopp has trusted these players so much that they think they can they think they can reap the benefit just by playing them every time, but it's not going to work. You need to rotate. You need to keep new fresh
Right.
new players in, because like Alex Ferguson, remember at Manchester United in the 80s 90s, he whenever Man United weren't playing well with that squad, he kept refreshing the team. So same thing Klopp needs to do is that he needs to keep refreshing the team with new players. And what I see from especially Trent yesterday is that I thought defensively Trent was horrible, very poor on the ball. And
Yeah, he changed. What? Sorry to cut you. What it was, the um, first half an hour, he wasn't too good. But what they did is like Klopp changed the way he's playing. Klopp made
inverted.
him play more inverted and everything that, and that's what changed his game. That's what allowed him and they to play better, because at the end of the day he set up like the last goal at the end of the day was a pass, was a pass, and that was like a wicked pass. And I think his best position will be going forward is an inverted right back. Bit what Man City do with Stones, like an inverted right back, which somehow he kind of plays in midfield, sort of like. And I think that's probably going to be the best thing. I mean, for the first 25 minutes to half hour, yes, he was poor, but I think he changed his game after that. I think after that Granit Xhaka thing, he changed his game after that, and he started to play well, because in my player ratings, I actually gave him 8, which is like, I haven't done that for quite a while. Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
And good game overall. Yeah, Arsenal actually really were. I could see Arteta's face getting so nervous. He was so nervous during the game, I thought. And to be honest, I hope that's what we do to Arsenal, but that's not gonna happen this Sunday. It's not. I don't.
Yeah. All right, I'll come to Elias. Liverpool 2, Arsenal 2.
Best possible result that can come out of that game, in my opinion. I think that I didn't want Arsenal to win because they would gain a lot of points, and I didn't want Liverpool to win because I wanted them to stay kind of like below us and give us a bit of margin and don't pose any challenge in terms of top 4. I wanted them to stay there. So in terms of that, it's the best possible result, because Arsenal didn't get enough points as well that they needed to kind of have a good lead over City for the title, and then Liverpool cannot give us so much of competition in terms of the top 4 race. So yeah, I'm extremely happy. And again, Bobby Firmino, again, I think I heard that he had a really good performance yesterday in that game. Thankful to him as well, and thankful to the Arsenal goal scorers as well, who scored the goals to keep it a draw. And not have it as a win for either side. Best possible result, I think, in perspective of a Spurs fan. Yeah.
And Scott, I'll come to you last. Yeah, your opinions.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say I'm a little bit different than the Liverpool fan. I want Arsenal to lose 100% because of their fans and because of their player and their manager. They 100% deserve to be relegated more than anything. They're a terrible group of people. But other than that, yeah, I mean, it's funny. Liverpool actually was one of the teams being here in North America that I hate the most, because we have so many obnoxious Liverpool fans in North America, especially in the media. So usually I don't cheer for them, but one thing that Liverpool has done over the years is lose games that I need them to to win and win games that I want them to lose. So I guess a draw, it would have been nice for a win. I was really hoping for Liverpool. I've written off this season for Spurs anyways, as you guys know. So Liverpool can catch us. Who cares? We can finish 8th. We can finish 7th. It's all meaningless anyway. So it was good. I was getting worried there because the way this season has been going, Arsenal have been getting results that they have no right to get. And the way after Salah missed that penalty, it sure looked like Liverpool was going to throw that game away. So great to see them come back, get the late equalizer. That's the exact kind of thing that they've done to us after in so many years, right? Where we've been looking like we're cruising to the win, and then they find that late goal. So it's what it's what Liverpool have done to finish so high in the league and to win the league is get those results. Certainly something they haven't been doing this year. So we'll see. I'm not sure it's going to change anything for them because I think much like us, what they really need is a new players, right? They need an influx, especially in that midfield of players to kind of refresh their squad. But it could be something that gets them so that this season isn't a complete disaster. If they could get up and sneak into, I really don't think they can get 4th. I think it's going to be tough for them to beat either United or Newcastle, but they could get up there, get up to 5th, still have European football, which for a club like them does matter because they do use European football to attract players. So good to see that it was a draw. Disappointing it wasn't the full 3 points for Liverpool, but now it does put it in, right? If all City has to do is win out and they get the title, which is most important for me. So
That's true. And Uncle Ross is going to make a move soon. Your channel, when are you be streaming again?
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me on, man. It's a pleasure being on your show.
Thanks for being on.
And meeting all you guys from the other side of the world. Do you know what I mean? It's a pleasure. Do you know what I mean? I'm gonna be on tomorrow evening. I've got the Red and Blue show. I've got my guest this week is Callum Sanderson from Coppish Family. He should be on the show tomorrow. And also I have an Arsenal fan on it tomorrow, Francesca. Do you know what I mean? She'll be on the show tomorrow. We'll be chopping up things like other than football. We'll be chopping up football, but we got other subjects we'll be chopping up as well. Do you know what I mean? Basically lifestyle and so forth. So if you guys are available, give it a watch. It's a good little watch and stuff.
Yeah. And Phil Uncle Rod, right, on YouTube.
Yeah, and Phil Uncle Rod's on YouTube. So you give it a watch. So in the meantime, guys, enjoy the rest of your evening. Lovely to be in the show again. And just give me a shout another time, and I'll come on again. Always a pleasure coming on the show. Take care.
Always.
God bless. See you later.
Take care, Uncle Rod.
good talk. Yeah.
Bye.
Okay.
No. So Scott, I guess we're going to end the show soon. Just the 4 of us have left, right? Any last thoughts?
Yeah, what to say about Spurs? Maybe best thoughts to give about the Premier League in general. Should be an interesting run to see who gets relegated now, right? It's so close, and it's got to be frustrating for the West Ham fans here. Like they should not be in this race, but they really are. But all it takes, I think, if they can get two more wins, they have a chance to get right out of it because there's so many teams here that look like they just want to go down. Every time you think, okay, now we know who's settled. Some team wins when they shouldn't, and the other team loses when they can't. So that'll be an interesting race, right to the end. I think the only one that's nailed on going down at this point is Southampton, if I'm not mistaken. They're pretty far down. It's going to be hard for them to make it. I would say Leicester as well, but they do have talent. You know, a guy like James Maddison, even some of their attacking players, they could win them any game that they need. So even though they have they're right down there with less points than other people, I think they'll probably pull it out at the end. But that should be interesting. The result yesterday, like I said, makes at least now we know it's not going to be an Arsenal walk. It's going to be a little bit tight for the title. I think hopefully now City can get their heads out of their asses and just win the last games and take the title that they so rightfully deserve. But yeah, so maybe not an interesting end to the season for Spurs, but for the league in general, there could be a few things to look for in the last 8 games left.
Chelsea going down. I'm looking forward to that.
Chelsea,
No, actually, For
What do you feel?
real,
Right.
Chelsea can go down if they lose next 4 of their 8 games and Everton were to win next 4 of their 8 games. Chelsea has a good chance of going down.
Guys, I keep telling you, Chelsea ain't going down after spending 600 million, right? Somehow or another, they'll be kept up. That's all.
I'm not sure there's going to be 3 teams to get to 39 points, anyways. Now with how bad some are playing, but we'll see.
That's good. Keshav, any last thoughts?
Well, just hope
Not boys out, right? We all know that.
yes, we all know that. But I'm just going to look forward to Conference League quarterfinals this week against Ghent away. So I'm excited about that. And then again, another daunting task against Arsenal, which again, I'm not really confident about that. Sunday, I think it's 9 p.m., I think. So definitely be watching that. Not going to be easy. To be honest, I'm scared, or to be honest, with how they are playing and how well. But do feel there's a slight chance that we can get something out of the game if we play like how we did against Fulham, defensively organized. Just right now, to be honest, I don't care.
Are you guys at home?
Yeah, we're playing at home. Yeah, so
Okay.
definitely the crowd will lift us up. But again, like I said, it would be a miracle if we do go out there and win. I wouldn't expect that, but even a draw, I'll be happy, because I think right now, besides the other sides, we have got the most games to play against the top 6. We have got Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, Man United. So again, we're not out of that yet. So like I say, if we can pick up any points against like sides like Arsenal or what right now, would be great. But like I say, I think to be honest, West Ham survival would solely depend on us getting wins against Leeds, Bournemouth, Palace. If we can really pick up at least maybe 2 or 3 wins, we'd probably be safe, I think. But I'm not gonna see any. I'm not gonna be confidently saying yes we are up or yes we're staying up. So yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, best of luck with you guys, right? Elias, any shows coming out?
Yeah, I'll be doing a midweek show this week. I haven't decided who to invite on. Maybe Mr. Scottman. I was supposed to do a show last time, but I couldn't. Just not feeling very well. And this week I'll do a show for the upcoming game as well, for the Bournemouth. And then we see. But by the way, guys, just wanted to say, if you haven't already, please subscribe to Tottenham Away too. I just put the link in the chat as well. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, guys, and don't forget, right? If you're watching after this as a recorded version, subscribe to Step Up Spurs, Tottenham Away 2, Enfield Uncle Rod, Bob Spur TV, and of course, don't forget Spurs Vision TV, right? Smash the like. Right, guys, thanks for coming on, and I'll see you in the back room. Oh, and not to forget, and as always, Levy out.